Blood and gold, the real reason Columbus came. Christopher Columbus wasn't an explorer, he was a desperate businessman on the run from bankruptcy. And what he did when he reached the Americas? It wasn't discovery, it was the beginning of the largest act of theft and genocide in human history. This is the story they sanitized. This is the truth about 1492. By 1492, Columbus had been rejected by every major European power. Portugal said no, England said no, France said no. He wasn't a visionary, he was wrong. He miscalculated the Earth's size by thousands of miles. Everyone knew it. But Spain's King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella were desperate too. They just finished a brutal war and needed money. So they made a deal with a man who promised them impossible riches. Columbus would get 10% of all wealth he found. 10%. Remember that number. October 12, 1492. Columbus lands in the Bahamas and meets the Taino people. His own journal, yes, his own words describe them as generous, peaceful, and welcoming. They gave gifts, they offered food. And what did Columbus write that night? Quote, "They would make fine servants. With 50 men we could subjugate them all and make them do whatever we want." Not discovery, invasion. Within 3 days, he was already planning their enslavement. Within 3 months, he had kidnapped dozens to bring back to Spain as proof.
Wait, before we go further into this dark chapter, if you don't subscribe now, you might never find us again. YouTube's algorithm is unpredictable. Hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss the rest of the series. Trust me, it gets darker. Columbus was obsessed with one thing: gold. He forced the Taino to bring him a specific quota of gold dust every 3 months. If they didn't need it, their hands were cut off. Let that sink in. Mutilation for not finding enough gold in a land that didn't have much gold to begin with. But Columbus kept lying to Spain, promising mountains of riches. He established the encomienda system, basically legalized slavery disguised as civilization. Indigenous people were forced to work in mines and plantations. Those who resisted were hunted with dogs. Those who ran were burned alive. When Columbus arrived, Hispaniola, modern-day Haiti and Dominican Republic, had a population of 250,000 to 300,000 Taino people. By 1548, just 56 years later, fewer than 500 remained. That's a 99.8% population collapse. This wasn't accidental. Columbus implemented a system of terror. He paraded mutilated bodies through villages as warnings. He sold girls as young as 9 into sexual slavery. Again, his own writings admit this. In Spain, they called him a tyrant and arrested him. Even by the brutal standards of the 1500s, Columbus was considered a monster.
So how did this man become a hero? Simple. In the 1800s, America needed a founding myth. Italian Americans, facing discrimination, embraced Columbus as a symbol of their heritage. In 1937, President Roosevelt made Columbus Day a federal holiday, not because Columbus was honorable, but because America needed a simple story, a hero, a discovery. But the truth is this: Columbus didn't discover anything. He invaded, he enslaved, he murdered, and he set the blueprint for 400 years of colonization. Columbus made 4 voyages to the Americas, each one more brutal than the last. He opened the floodgates. Spanish conquistadors followed his model: land, conquer, extract, enslave. Hernán Cortés in Mexico, Francisco Pizarro in Peru. The pattern was set. And it wasn't just Spain. Portugal, England, France, they all joined in. The scramble for the Americas became the deadliest land grab in human history. And it all started with a desperate man chasing gold. This is just chapter 2. In the next episode, we're covering what they don't want to talk about: the genocide. How 90% of Native Americans disappeared in just 150 years. Disease, yes, but also systematic extermination, slavery, and starvation. The largest death toll in human history. Subscribe to Forgotten Chapters of History. Hit the notification bell. Leave a comment. Do you think Columbus Day should still be celebrated? The truth doesn't care about your comfort. It only cares about being told. Episode 3 drops soon.